So last night on ABC, which was Monday night, April 26th, they did a 2 hour documentary special, a tribute special to the 50 years of Sesame Street, called The 50 Years of Sunny Days. Now, for a lot of us, we know that Sesame Street began in 1969, but really didn't start to take off until like a year or so later, like the 1971. And I can tell you honestly, when they showed this, it brought back a lot of memories. It brought back a lot of memories because, just like I said on Facebook, you know, me and my cousins and my siblings, my sisters, were always watching Sesame Street growing up when we were younger. When our parents needed to have us get educated, even when we weren't ready to go to school, kindergarten, preschool, whatever the case may be, they would put us in front of the television, they would tune in to PBS, and there would be Sesame Street, waiting to educate us. But what was unique about this this tribute, about this special, I should say, what was unique about it was the fact that, they talked about the fact that Sesame Street tackled issues that even parents and even teachers, guardians, whatever, kind of find hard and difficult to explain to a kid, when, they should be able to, but they can't find the right words to, fully explain what's going on. Like one of the first things they talked about was about when somebody passes away. And of course, the one Sesame Street that they focused on was when the actor who played Mr. Hooper died. He legitimately died, and they had to put that into the story. They had to basically work that in to the educational part of the episode, on how they could educate kids, about the fact that when somebody passes, that physically they're never going to come back, but you keep them alive in spirit by remembering all the good times you had with them. And basically, I remember watching this as a kid, and and honestly, it's one of those Sesame Street episodes that stuck out to me. It really stuck out to me as a kid, and to see the fact that that ABC, through this special is utilizing that one special or that one episode to kind of describe what Sesame Street has done when it comes to certain current events and topics that, like I said, parents would find hard to teach to their kids or explain to the kids. I thought was great. I thought it was great that they were putting the focus on, the fact that Sesame Street was not going to shy away from what some people would consider to be taboo. And that episode, I remember as a kid, I remember watching it. I mean, I don't know what my reaction was as a kid because I was 3 years old at the time. But I do remember that coming on, and I do remember watching it several times afterwards when they would replay it. Just to, get the message across that these kind of things happen. And it's just, and what was so unique about it was they utilized the character of Big Bird as basically the central point of somebody that doesn't understand, what that meant about what the passing of Mr. Hooper meant, because you have Big Bird drawing all these pictures of his human friends, and when giving one to each of them, and when he gets to Hooper, that's when basically they have to explain, you remember we told you he passed. So basically Sesame Street, like I said, never shied away from these kind of things. I mean, I even focused on the fact that Sesame Street has, over the years, continued to grow and evolve, and basically continue, building upon what they began back in 1969, 1970, by basically evolving and, touching upon subjects and talking about subjects to kids in a way that, like I said, parents and even teachers would find difficult to explain. They bring up the fact that they created puppets, for Sesame Street that have autism, HIV, things like that. Some that, even recently, one of the things that, brought up in a big news way was you have these new characters, these new characters on Sesame Street that are of different color. They're black. They're black. They're, the African American, if you will. No disrespect. And I think that's great because it helps educate kids on the fact that it doesn't matter what color of your skin is. That if you can become friends and you can get along, that's all that matters. That's all that really matters. And I thought that was great. They even addressed the fact that, after a long time, what a lot of us knew growing up as we got older, not as kids, but as we got older, was in fact true. And that was the fact that Bert and Ernie were gay. But they never, said it out front until, I guess they felt a lot of us that grew up on Sesame Street in the 70s and in the 80s, if you will, and the 90s, were old enough to kind of, put the pieces together like, oh, so, they are more than, just, roommates and all that. So, or best buddies or something like that. And I like the fact that they did that because, again, what they're doing is they're tackling, topics and subjects that they feel, many parents, or they believe, or they've seen that many parents, teachers, news outlets, journalists, whatever, feel is too taboo for kids to understand. And again, this is just an example of why Sesame Street is so beloved. When that special came on last night, or when I found out about it, because I found out about it, on Facebook, I immediately set my DVR to record it. And when me and my mom got home yesterday from getting gas for her car and washing it a little bit as well, I sat down and I watched that special. I DVR'd it and watched it because it brings back so many memories. Because like I said, when I was a kid, my mom would put me in front of that to learn. That would help educate me. Well, she was homeschooling me at times. Even before that, she would put me in front of the television to watch Sesame Street so that when she would homeschool me, I would be ready. And Sesame Street, helped out. She did the same with my second oldest sister and my older sister. Basically, Sesame Street, we grew up with it. We're part of that generation that grew up with Sesame Street, and we're able to now pass it on to the generation that comes before us. I have a great niece that there is no doubt in my mind that my niece is going to have to, utilize Sesame Street to help educate her in the future. There is no doubt about that. So to me, the 50 years of Sunny Days Sesame Street special, I thought did a fantastic job, in not only celebrating the half century that this program has been around, but also focusing and talking about what Sesame Street has always been known to do, and that's help educate kids on certain topics and subjects that others feel is taboo and unexplainable to kids because they feel they wouldn't understand. So to them I say thank you. And if you haven't seen 50 Years of Sunny Days, I think it's on demand on ABC right now. Check it out. It might even show up eventually on HBO Max. And I think there's also a documentary movie coming out to theaters and HBO Max later this year. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace out. God bless. Out. I'm done.